Hi everyone. So I'm getting together some items to start creating my journal for the Misfit Makeovers challenge for 2023 in our Mixed Media Morsels series. And I know that in the previous videos I mentioned using some product packaging like some of these. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought I'm not going to use these, although you can if you want to. There are no size requirements for the journal. You can make it as large or as small as you want, or you can not make a journal at all and use something that you have on hand. But I do think that you would be so excited to make your own journal. So please keep that in mind because I really recommend it. I wanted to also state that, some of your boxes may be different shape. Like a box like this, is actually, it's a nice little rectangle, but the spine of it is really wide. And you probably wouldn't want a spine on your journal to be necessarily that thick. On my own journal, I'm not even going to make a spine. I'm just going to fold over what I'm using and sew some pages in like that. But I just wanted to show you, if you do use something like this, or let's say a cracker box or a cereal box, something like that, you can simply cut the large panels off. See if I can do this real quick for you. Okay, so I won't need any of these little pieces here. So let's just say this is your front and back covers. So all you would need then is a way to attach these two. So you could lay them, let me move this too. So you could just lay them together like so and have just a small gap in between the two, and you could actually glue a piece of fabric or painted paper or whatever down this seam here. You make a seam right here, and that will attach your two pieces together. I don't advise using tape. I think I mentioned this before. I don't advise using like double-sided tape and stuff in this center area where you're going to be sewing. Eventually you'll be sewing in your signatures. So once you got your little cover pieces covered in something, like you might use painted papers or gel prints or fabric or something to cover this, or drop papers, I mean anything you want you can use. Then once you get those covered, then you might want to use a piece of fabric or something to lay in the center area there. Let me see, I've got a piece of something here. I know it's not going to be exactly the right size, but what I'm getting at is laying a piece, gluing a piece of fabric or something like that, and then your two covers, the front and back, are connected because they will be able to fold together like this, and this will be on one side and this will be on the other side. Okay, so that's a very fun way to make a journal cover. Just cover two pieces of chipboard, be it cereal box, cracker box, oatmeal box, whatever, and then you use a piece of fabric to hold them together. So that I just wanted to give you some ideas on what you can use. Now for my journal, I actually considered using one of these Amazon envelopes again, like I used for my Christmas journal. And I really love this. It's nice and sturdy. And what I like about this packaging is that it's crinkly, and I love the sound of it. But once I glued down fabrics to front and back, it lost a lot of that crinkle effect. It's fine and it's sturdy, but it doesn't have the crinkle. So what I decided this time to upcycle is a different kind of envelope. It's still an Amazon envelope, but I decided to use the plastic one that has the bubble wrap on the inside. And it also is very crinkly. And I'm hoping that the way that I'm putting it together, it will retain some of that crinkly, because I just love the sound of it. I think it's just so fun. So what I did was I took a piece, in fact this is the other half of the one that I'm actually using, And I just folded it in half and cut it to the size of journal that I wanted it to be. Okay, so here's that. And so as you can see, it's just a little bit smaller than what the original one was. And then I took my Fabrifix and I lightly glued the plastic area on the back of the envelope, and I stuck down a piece of fabric. I did not glue all the way to the edges because I'm going to be stitching all the way around. So what I'm going to do right now is show you how I attached this one, which was very simple because I'm going to attach a piece to go on the inside. And as you might have guessed, I'm going to use this green swirly fabric. I really like it. And the piece that I was using just now to show you about the spine, I'm actually going to use on the spine of this book and wrap it around. I think that's going to be so cute. Now you won't see this part sticking out because that's going to be on the inside, but I just think that's going to be so fun. And I just love blue and green together like this. This is one of my favorite combos, so I'm very happy about how this worked out. This is just fabric that I had in my stash. I didn't go buy anything special for this project. And I'm just going to glue this in here and then give it a trim. And I'm just keeping all of my pieces the same size, just like I did the Christmas journal. And then I'm going to stitch with the machine. You can also hand stitch if you want to do something like this and you don't have a sewing machine. You can hand stitch along all 4 sides. And then just lightly gluing on the inside just to kind of keep the fabric somewhat in place. In other words, I'm not gluing it real heavy and thick and having it soak through the fabric too much, I hope. And that way it just kind of stays lightly tacked in this area, and then it'll get stitched on. It's not going to go anywhere. So far it still has a little bit of crinkle. Let me close it and see. Yeah, so far it sounds good. So we'll see if it still sounds fun and crinkly when I'm done with the gluing. But I'm just going to do that now. Just put a little of the Fabrifix inside, and like I said, I'm not going all the way to the corners or to the edges. I'm just putting some in the center, basically in the center. Okay, I'm going to spread out. If I see any blobs of glue, I'm just kind of spreading it out. I don't want it to be real thick in any areas where it will come through the fabric. I mean, it's okay if it does. It's a junk journal. I'm not going to be that particular about it. I need to stand up so I can get this laid on here because it's pretty much the exact right size right now. So I'm just going to lay it there and just give it a light touch. If you press real hard, you definitely will get those wet glue areas on your fabric. So I'm just gently pressing it down like that. And then I'm going to leave it alone and let it dry before I do any stitching. So while I let the glue dry on this piece, I took the little piece that I'm going to put on the spine and I stitched a piece of lace on either edge. This is just some old lace that I've had for forever. And it's almost gone. You can see the cardboard here starting to show through. But it was a light blue color and I thought it would look nice with the lighter blue areas on my front cover here. So that's going to be glued on to the spine like that, and I just think it looks really cute. I love it. So after it dried and after I sewed the laces onto this piece, I did go ahead and stitch around the entire rectangle of the cover. And it's just a large zigzag stitch. And I just went all the way around, and that sewed both the green piece and the blue piece to the piece that's in the middle, the bag, the envelope. And it's still crinkly and it sounds really good. I love it. So I'm excited about that. So now all I want to do is put a little glue onto this piece here so that I can kind of attach it around the edge of the book. I'm going to lay it on here where just about where I think the center will fall, right about on the outside edge there. And I think I'll have a few minutes to move it around if I don't quite get it right, but I'm going to roll it over. Looks like I got it pretty close there. So I'm just rolling it over and attaching it like that. I really didn't want to lay it flat across because then it gives it no room to, it leaves it with no room to be able to fold around the book. So that's why I just kind of wrapped it around gently like that. I guess it's a little bit low here, but it's not too bad. Okay, so there we go. Got that in place. So I'll give that a minute or two to dry. And I'm going to go ahead and snip off this edge here that's overhanging a little bit. There we go. That's so cute. I really like it. So while it's drying, I'm gonna get ready to add my papers. Now, I'm not gonna add very many pages to this book, you guys, because I am solely using this for the 12 pages that we will do during the course of the year. So I'm not putting in tons and tons of pages. So what it will end up being is 3 pieces folded in half, because 3 pieces folded in half are going to give me 12 sides. So you have this side, this side, this side, and this side. So you've got 4 sides times 3, that makes 12. If you want to make your journal larger and add more pages to it, go for it. And make it as large as you want, and just keep making pages and adding to it once we're done or in between, whatever. But I'm just going to make the 12 just simply because I want to have just enough pages to do the little challenge with. I wanted to show you how you can use, like, these pages are large enough to fold over and put inside the signature, in the signature. These are individual pages, so you can fold them over, but they would be really, really small inside your book. So they would look like this. So I want to have a little bit more page to work with. So what I'm going to do is show you how you can attach individual pages into your signature just by attaching them with something in the middle, kind of like what I was talking about with the cover earlier. So I'm just going to lay these 2 pieces almost touching, but not quite. All right, and then I'm going to take a strip of paper. This is just some black and white gift wrap, and I'm going to use it like washi tape, only it's not going to be tape because of the reason I told you before about how it's harder to stitch through tapes, the adhesive on tapes. But a glue stick thing like this is going to dry pretty quickly, and it will hold the 2 pages together, and you won't have to worry about a needle going through a bunch of annoying adhesive that sticks up your needle and everything. Okay, so this one, I'm going to just make sure these are where I want them. Okay, that looks pretty good. And then I'm just going to stick it down. Now this will show in your journal, but for me, I don't care. I don't mind it showing. I think it's fun. It adds a little bit of a playful element, and it makes me think of like washi tape. I got that a little bit too far apart, so I'm going to do it again. Lay it down in there a little bit closer. There we go. That's better. All right. So now what we end up with is 1 sheet, just like these are 1 sheet folded over, and we'll fold this over too. Okay, I'm going to snip this off. Like that. And then I'm going to put a piece on the other side. This is just a piece of collage paper that I had made a while back, and I just think it will be just a fun piece to add there. All right, so now you have one sheet of paper, and it can be folded over and included in your signature. So I'm going to add this now as a folded sheet. I'm going to add this to my signature of other folded sheets. And I'm going to start with this one. I think I'll add the colorful one as the next page, and then I'll add this one in, the typing book page, as my center one. And I know that this page is ripped, but it's a junk journal. And we are going to be altering these pages, so I'm sure that I'll be able to finish off this page and make it look just like I want it to in the end. All right, and so these 3 sheets are going to go into my journal like this. And it doesn't look like much right now, but once we start building on these pages, they'll get thicker and take up more room, and I think it's going to just be cool. Very, very cool. So I'm going to give this glue in here just a minute to dry before I start stitching through there, and I'll be back in a minute to stitch this signature into the cover. Okay, so I'm going to stitch it together now, and I'm just going to use a simple 3-hole pamphlet stitch. And it's just going to get stitched right into the center of this cover. Let's see. I'm just going to lay it inside the cover and get it positioned in the right spot. And I'm pushing it down to just get it right down into the crease there. Once I get it down in there, I'm going to paper clip it together so that the pages don't move. When I start to punch holes, I want all the holes to be in the same spots. Okay. Everything to go together. And this is such a quick and simple little book to do because it doesn't have very many pages, and it only has the one signature, so it's very simple, very, very easy to do. Okay, so everything is tucked down into the spine where we're gonna put our binding, and I'm just using some embroidery floss, and I'm gonna measure about three times the height of the book. 1, 2, 3, and usually give myself just a little bit of extra just in case I need it. All right, got a needle here with a large eye so that I can thread the floss through. And I put this set of needles in my Amazon store recently because it really is a good set of needles with large eyes. I really like it. And there's plenty. I mean, there's several needles in here, so if one gets misplaced, you got plenty left over. All right, so I'm not measuring this. I'm making this as easy as I possibly can, not measuring it at all. I'm going to guess where I think the center is, and I think it's right about there. And then I'm just going to fold my book together and push the needle through so that it comes out on the outside of the spine. Okay, pull it through and hang on to the little tail here so that it doesn't pull through. Okay, next I think I'm gonna go ahead and make some holes. I'm gonna use the needle and just make holes. I should use the awl, I guess. You can use the needle if you want to. I'm just gonna go ahead and use the awl to make the holes because I'm gonna have to go down through the outside now, and I need to see where to put the needle. And I'm just guesstimating about an inch or an inch and a quarter up from the sides, from each end, I mean, and pushing that through just to give me a hole to stitch into. All right, so we went through the center, and now we're going to come up to the top or bottom, whichever way you want to go. I can see the hole there that I had made. Wants to close up though because it's fabric. And then I'm going right back through the papers. Pull my thread loose here. There we go. Okay. Then we're going to skip the middle hole and go all the way down to the other hole on the other end and push that through. Okay. All right, and then we go back in through the middle, and we try not to split that thread there. Try to avoid the thread that's already there, and come up through the same hole. Okay, and the idea is to have one thread on either side here of that long stitch in the middle. Okay, I can take my needle off now. All right, so you can see there's two long stitches right on the edge, one here, one here. Okay, and then all we're going to do is just make sure that's snug and then tie a square knot. And that's it. I'll leave these long until I decide if I want to use them for anything. If I don't, then I'll cut them short later. And that's all you do to sew your pages into your cover. That's it. And you've got a journal. How cool is that? So here's our pages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So it doesn't take much, and it's so fun, and I'm so excited now to start filling it up. So that's how you can easily put together a journal. And like I said, if you don't want to create a journal, you don't have to. You can use something that you already have on hand, but it is so much fun, and I definitely do encourage you to make a journal, especially if you never have, because it's just so much fun. And I love the fact that I repurposed an envelope and made myself a journal with an envelope and some fabric and trims and thread and stuff that I already had here. I didn't buy anything extra for this journal. So that just makes me so happy. So I have a repurposed journal to start my Misfit Makeovers. And I would call that little bubble wrap envelope a misfit, because what are we going to do with those when we take out whatever we ordered? We're going to throw it in the trash or the recycle bin. So I definitely consider it a misfit. It would have been tossed. And now look at it. It's a crinkly, fun little journal. So go ahead and get started creating your journal if you want. And I'll be back with you near the middle of the month to do our first page prompts and let you know what the misfit item that we're going to alter is going to be. So take care, everybody, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.